Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. Tonight, I'm delighted to be joined by OMONDI Juma and an exciting new face. So when I find the intro, we'll start. Yes, good evening and welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Mr. OMONDI Juma. How are you, OMONDI?
Yeah, I'm wonderful, man. Had a really good day today, full of surprises, and feeling sweet. And also, just checking on scores. I think Arsenal are losing and Spurs are losing as well. So long may that continue. How are you, Bath Time? You good?
Well, not really. I'm hanging on. There's been too much drinking. But I'm delighted to introduce a new face to the channel tonight, which is Stefan from the United Philosophy, which is a wonderful channel. So, Stefan, would you like to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course, man. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Stefan from the United Philosophy. It's a pretty small channel at the minute as well. Just sort of working away, doing a lot of the match coverage, build-ups, news and stuff. So kind of do a bit of everything. That's pretty much the top and bottom of it. Like,
and what sort of times are you live, Stefan?
Normally we would be live 7 p.m. UK time. So like, I usually just get back from work, set up, hop on a live, and then go about the rest of my day. So 7 p.m. usually, unless there's a match on, I'll do a watch along or something if it's like an earlier or later match, of course. So that's pretty much it.
Brilliant. Well, look, tonight in the comments, we've got Big T saying big up everyone and a special big up Stefan from the United Philosophy. And then he's flexing his muscles on us all again. And we got DK Wilson coming straight out of Cincinnati or somewhere. Oh, yeah, here we go. Now they know he can score. Watch the crosses come to Rasmus. Good evening, everyone, where it's evening. All right, so thanks, DK Wilson. And it's Matthew Bassett saying good evening all, and big up everyone on the show and in the chat. And we've got a lot to talk about this evening. So this is the show that we've got for you tonight, where we're of course going to ask Stefan, our guest, everything Man United, what he thinks of the season so far, Ten Hag's selections, players that have impressed and haven't impressed. We've had Lisandro Martinez has been talking in, I've got to be honest, in English that shocked me. He's fluent. I never knew. We've got loans. We've got AFCON. We've got the return of fan favourite Anthony Elangi. We've got the solo 11 and we've got score predictions. So an action-packed show on Monday, isn't it?
Most certainly. I mean, I don't know what to touch on first. Should we go in order? Yeah, let's hear from Stefan first, because I like Stefan. We had a little chat backstage, and everyone watching right now, make sure you subscribe to United Philosophy. If you're part of the agenda, you've got to be part of the philosophy as well. But I'm interested to hear what Stefan's view on this difficult season's been. So, yeah, if we can go with that one first, that'd be the first item.
Yep, 100%, guys. Let's go for it.
All right, Stefan. We'll start off with a big question. Ten Hag. What are your thoughts?
I guess we've kind of seen the good, the bad, the ugly at times this season from the man. I mean, look, the last match against Villa I thought was actually pretty good. I actually think we're kind of unlucky to be 2-0 down at half-time. Set-piece defending, as always, has been a problem. Like, I don't know what Eric Ramsey's doing. I mean, this guy's been here for 2 or 3 years now as a set-piece coach. We can't score from a corner. We can't defend a corner. So I'm not too sure where that one's coming from. But I think overall it was pretty positive. Second half, we seem to make a lot of chances. But, I mean, it comes back to the same problems. I don't have any faith in the guy that he's going to go out against Nottingham Forest and pick the same team. He might put McTominay back in there. He might put Anthony back in there. And then we've just got the same problems. I've never thought it's a problem with his quality as a manager. I just always think it's a stubbornness from him not to want to move away from what he thinks is right, even if it's not working out. And we can see that, really. And that's my kind of issues with him. I think in terms of the big calls across his tenure, it's been pretty good, especially last season. But I'm not in it this year either. He does look like he has regressed as well as the rest of the team. I think that's fair to say. I think it is hard to say really where we stand with him, because it's just difficult to know what we're going to do next, because the few good performances this season, we've kind of accidentally stumbled into them. They've not been really cohesively planned out. They've not been really consistent either. We got second half against Villa. We have Crystal Palace at home, League Cup. You've got first half against Copenhagen. It's very few and far between, really. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, so I mean, in the last couple of matches, I think myself and OMONDI have been quite impressed by quite a lot of what we've seen in terms of like West Ham and Liverpool are difficult places to go. All right, the West Ham result didn't pan out the way we wanted it to, but we did control the game better than I've seen for quite some time. For a while, I mean, I've probably been Ten Hag out for about a year. Because I don't like a lot of the things he does. But do you think you've seen any improvements since probably the Brentford game where with McTominay's goals? That sort of felt like something changed after that.
Yes and no. I'll say yes and no. It's kind of a mixed bag. We're still going back to playing McTominay in this kind of strange striker role, playing from deep, coming in. He's like a box crashing midfielder, but we don't really hold the ball around the box either to make the most of it. And yeah, look, he's brought goals, and it's not really his fault as a player. It's the kind of instructions he's been following and carrying out by the manager. But you look at it, and the amount of times it'll be Kobe Mainu, or it'll be Amrabat, or even Casemiro early in the season, and their next midfielder partners maybe 20, 30 yards further forward. There's no real shape in the midfield at all, really. Everybody wants to get the ball a lot further up the pitch, a lot quicker. I kind of described it at one point like it's like we're a goal down with 5 minutes left, and that's kind of how we've been playing the matches. We've been playing long ball a lot. We've been trying to just spam it through the middle, not working it, not keeping hold of it. And I don't get it, because last season, he was talking a lot about control, having possession, not giving chances away, and then building from there. And now all of a sudden we don't want to control matches. We don't want to have possession. We don't want to make a lot of chances by movement and stuff. We want to just put it in the box and hope McTominay gets on the end of it, or that's pretty much been it. So that's a frustration for sure, man.
Okay, Monday, do you have any sort of comments or anything you've heard you disagree with? Do you want to bump heads, or are you going to behave yourself?
Interesting, isn't it? You said bath time that you've been Ten Hag out for a long period of time, and it's good to hear from other fans, because obviously we only see it from our perspective, and sometimes we influenced by people on the channel who come with great tactical ideas and swing it our way. So it's good to hear that, and I think Stefan speaks for the majority of fans. Really, we are a bit concerned. We're not seeing. He mentioned stubbornness as well, didn't you, Stefan, about the manager? You want to see him sort of adjust and say, "Okay, I've got this wrong. Let me try and switch it up a bit, tweak it a little bit." And I do think we've seen that in the last few games, especially starting with the Bayern Munich game. We've gone a bit more conservative. And whereas we've been leaking goals, I think he's addressed that slightly. I'm not going to be consistent on that point, because we did lose to West Ham by a few, and Bournemouth. But I do think we are making an effort to do that. And yesterday, for example, was another example of that, where we only conceded goals from set pieces, but in open play against a good Villa side, we kind of restricted them. So I'm like to see those are the positives that I like to see from the side. And as you were saying, it's like a last minute attack when we're playing for 90, throughout the 90 minutes. I think that's good as well. No cohesion between the players, and we mentioned yesterday they're a bit more compact. They're sort of staying closer together, and that enables us to stop being these transitions, and also enables us to be in and around the players when we're building up. Which we don't tend to do, like you were saying earlier, Stefan, about possession in the final third. Looks like we're just whacking it in for Tommy to come in, and that sort of thing. So we want to see some ID. There's a lot of complaints from fans about no identity of the way we're playing, but if you really scratch the surface, I think there is. And I'm really pleased with yesterday's result, and hopefully going into this Forest game, which we're previewing today, we can be able to sort of highlight a few things to look out for.
Wicked. Well, let's see what the comments are saying. And first of all, Big T is saying that you have a Discord, Stefan, which is
Yeah. It's a pretty small server, like, but there's some good guys in there as well. So if anybody does want to pop in there for a chat, I'm always active and stuff. So
Sorry, what is Discord? I have to ask. I'm nodding like, yeah, I know what it is. I don't know what it is.
It's like a private Twitter, Monday. It's
I like
it's like
they
a
have
group
like
chat.
a meeting with they have meetings on Twitter, don't they?
Yeah,
it's like a group chat.
Okay.
It's got like different sort of like it's a program that is mainly used for gaming. So it has voice chats, it has video chats, it has different sections. I thought about trying to set one up on the agenda, but I mean, we can barely set up a show. We're not.
I've noticed on Twitter people have rooms where they talk football. You can jump in and listen or talk. Is that what it is? Is that like a?
Yeah, it's like a private Twitter that you get invited to, and you can discuss
members only.
football. Yeah. So
I want in, Stefan.
You know, yeah, that's all good, man. It's a public link anyway. It's always on like my bios and stuff on videos and stuff. So it's there for anyone who wants it.
Yeah, you can keep the conversation going like outside of the show with other interested people. It's a really good Discord. And we've got Bart who's saying, "Welcome, Stefan. Isn't the Bart? Okay, isn't the anglicised version of your name Stephen? You know, like Steven Gerrard. Anyway, big up. Fair point about Eric Ramsey, not Ten Hag. Are you familiar with Bart?
No, I haven't seen Bart before. No, he's not in any of my comments or anything. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I think the anglicised version probably is Stephen. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, don't worry, neither's Bart. And here, what are you saying now? So last season, cumulative fatigue, topsy-turvy pre-season, delayed signings, little to no pre-season, insufficient outgoings, injuries, and a sluggish start are all contributing factors for United.
Excuses.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-season was a bit of a joke, to be fair. Like having to go to like 8 or 9 different places and Ten Hag emailing them what socks to wear and things. It was ridiculous. And then we look, Big T is saying he was never Ten Hag in. And look, it's Mr. B.
Big up, Mr. B. How you doing?
Big up, Mr. B. Hope you're all right. And then we got DK Wilson here saying, "Are you sure it's that the players aren't equipped to play the way Heath wants to? He did say we will not see the way he played at Ajax." So, Stefan, like in terms of the sort of style of play, I'm gonna guess that are you a bit disappointed by what Erik ten Hag has served up to you?
Yeah. I'll say that. I think it's just when you look. We don't have to play exactly how Ajax played, but he has also signed enough of these players from Ajax he's worked with already that he probably should be able to get more out of them. I think that's one of the big frustrating things. You know, you're looking at Onana, you're looking at Anthony, Lisandro Martinez, a lot of those type of players, and they're just not getting the same kind of tune he got out of them. And I've said a few times on my show as well, it's like if all the Erik ten Hag signings were doing really well and playing really well, and then it was the players who'd been here before, you might say it could be a case of give it more time, let him fully build a squad, and then you'll see really good performances. But I mean, Anthony's been as bad as anyone. Onana's been very questionable at times. Well, Martinez injured, of course, as well. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at there. I think there is glimpses of it. I mean, you'll see it sometimes on Twitter, like just some clips, and it'll be like 5-6 one-touch passes, and then we're in goal. But that might happen once every 2 matches. It doesn't happen enough for me, and I just don't think he's signed this much players for this much money for the plan A to be just launching it long and hoping McTominay might flick it on the box or take it down and get a shot off or something. Like it has to be more than that, because we should have just kept Fellaini at that rate. We should have just went and re-signed Weghorst if that's what we wanted to do, but I don't know.
Monday, you've always been a massive proponent of Erik ten Hag, and you're so positive you might as well be radioactive at this point. You must feel a little bit disappointed about like that great Ajax team that we saw a couple of years ago, and then you see like performances like Bournemouth and things like that. I mean, are you Is it just like glimpses, like looking at a girl through a window on a train and imagining your life with her? Or are you seeing things? Are you really seeing things on the pitch?
Welcome to my world. Yes, I do that. Look on it.
Yeah, everyone does.
Beautiful women on the train. Yeah. No, I think it's a reality check sometimes. Obviously, we have high hopes from where we're coming from with Ollie getting sacked. A lot of us, especially myself, weren't really happy with Ollie. Didn't think he was experienced enough. So we're getting the best, most in-demand manager out there, which was the Ajax guy. He got to the semi-final. He's punching because Ajax haven't done it for a long, long time. And obviously, he won domestic trophies there and plays a good brand of football. And it was just unfortunate not to get to the final of the Champions League, you know. So I was happy with that. Then obviously, when, as you do in it, Stefan, the manager comes in, you get his book, you buy his book, and you read about his philosophy, how he plays. He turns up, he buys Anthony, and you know, I know you're disappointed in Stefan. I'm a bit disappointed too. He started well, goal against Arsenal and all that, and then since then he's just flat to deceive. So there's a lot of issues, but let's not forget, guys. This is the thing. We talk about reality check. Reality is this. We come third in his first season. Third, Stefan. Remember that? And we won and we got to the FA Cup final as well in his first season. So I don't think it's all that bad, you know? And you can't really go wrong. If you're top manager, you come into the side, obviously you've got to make little adjustments, come to a new system, new league. It's going to be, you know, I think that's the reality check that he's dealing with. It's a new league. Some of his players he's brought in are not accustomed to it and can't really stand up. Look, we brought Donny from Dutch football. He hasn't really sort of been a top player. And you look at other Dutch players that have come over the years who haven't really stepped up. There's a guy, there's a guy Everton bought when Ronald Koeman was there. He plays a similar role to Donny. He actually took Donny's place in international football, but didn't really make it at the club because he had the technical ability, but he didn't have the physicality to do the running and that kind of thing. And Anthony's disappointed, as I said earlier. But I just think he's got to learn to adapt. And he did say this, not my words, the manager said himself, I can't come here and transfer the Ajax way of play to Manchester United Football Club. I'm going to have to, you know, adjust a little. And I think we're going through that adjustment now. And we're seeing a little bit of changes with him, with the system. So I don't know, if you watched the show, you would have watched a brilliant show put on by BATHTIME yesterday. And we've done an eye test show where we sort of looked at where we're going wrong and how we're building up and why we're not scoring enough goals, why we're going defending well. And when we really broke it down, we can see there's more positives than negatives. So like I said before, third in the league, first trophy in years, that can't be frowned upon. You know, that makes good reading. And just because we had a bad start, and I'm not going to use all the excuses that was in the comments earlier. We've had a bad start, but we can go forward. In mid-January, we've got 3 of Mount's back, Casemiro's back, Martinez, who speaks English now, is back. So I'm
yeah. Amrabat's away, Onana's away. Times are looking good.
Yeah, exactly. And just my last point on that. I think there's some good comments as well about it, but my thing is, which really got you, like, guys, in the comments and on the panel, don't forget, it wasn't that long ago we came third and we won a trophy. So when you're listening to that, you're thinking, he's right, you know, it wasn't that long ago. Things aren't that bad.
I'm going to come back to that, but we community channel got to talk to the comments. So Big T is saying Ten Hag has served as Ollie Ball from Wish. Ollie played a rest defence. Like Ollie's a much better manager than you lot give him credit for. And Bart is saying DK Wilson spot on. Eric wants United to excel in transitions, but I thought he was signed because he could play like Pep. Otherwise, his appointment is strange. I mean, was Ten Hag not, like, you know, the prettiest girl at the party like 2 years ago? Like, everyone wanted him. I mean, although no, actually, he got turned down by Daniel Levy, didn't he? Because he wasn't fun enough for Daniel Levy. But anyway, DK Wilson is saying again, it's not Ten Hag's fault for paying all that money, and 2 players out of 11 came through Ajax. That leaves 9 players who aren't from Eric Ten Hag's system. I'm not sure your math adds up there, DK Wilson. Eriksen was at Ajax. Yeah. Onana was at Ajax. Martinez was at Ajax. Anthony was at Ajax. And Donny van de Beek. Yeah, Mount at what was it, 20 or something like that. Like
Dutch football, yeah.
Yeah. And it's Rushmano. Merry Christmas, Rushmano. I haven't seen you for a while. Ether's had so many problems to deal with, especially the club sale, which I don't care what anyone says, it will affect people's emotions and their ability to focus. Stefan, do you think that like Rushmano is right here, that like the issues with the ownership will be distracting Ten Hag and the players?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it kind of has to. Like, I'm sure we've all been there. We've been in a work environment that's not particularly good. We've probably all worked in a fairly toxic place at one point or another. So it does filter down, even if that's coming from like the executives or the guys at the very top, and you're at the very bottom of that company. Like, you're still going to feel it. So yeah, look, I definitely think that has knock-on effects. Certainly to the vibe and to the atmosphere, and as well, like if you want to go deeper into it as well, it is the executive of the club, it is the owners and the people they've empowered, the Richard Arnolds, the John Murdas, who have actually made the mistakes in the transfer window. Just going back to a previous comment there as well, it's not actually Erik ten Hag sitting down doing a negotiation. It's not Mitchell van der Gaag flying off to Amsterdam to try to get Antonio playing back with him. So yes, you can say Ten Hag probably should be doing better with some of those players, but as well as that, it's not him actually paying the prices and stuff as well. So I think it's just a lack of direction from the top, and eventually it's just filtered down through the entire club from top to bottom. I mean, we're even seeing it now with like 1-star food hygiene ratings and stuff. Like, so it really gets everywhere. Like, it's not just on the pitch.
It's like Reagan's trickle down economics, but with Colonel Sanders. Although, I mean, to be fair though, like Ten Hag will have known the transfer fee for Anthony, and I do find it shocking that someone went, "We're going to get Anthony for you for 80 million," and he went, "Yep, that's perfect."
Yeah,
that sounds great to me. And then JR is saying, "I wish someone would show Højlund Cavani tapes in reference to Emery has been showing Ollie Watkins Cavani tapes, who he would have managed him at PSG, I would suspect." And if you ever watch Mbappe play, Mbappe has definitely taken some stuff from Cavani, where he shoots hard and low to the near post, which is like Cavani's sort of like standard finish, and one that I think more players should do. And Rushmano is saying we could do with a Cavani type player right now. Well, we got one. We got Mount. He's an injured number 7 that never appears to play. And it's His Majesty King T'Challa. Evening, guys. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm not Ten Hag out, but I'm not seeing enough from him. He's brought in enough players to show us something different. OMONDI, is this a valid criticism of Ten Hag that with all the signings he's got in, there still isn't a consistent pattern of play on the pitch?
We broke it down yesterday. Go and watch yesterday's show. I think there is a pattern of play, and it just needs to be tweaked a bit. Bit unfortunate. Like I say, there's other issues going on within the club. I'm not making excuses now, but we know with what I've discussed this many times about the players, to get players on board. They're millionaires, and you're Ten Hag, and like, who are you? What's your CV? You're just a Dutch Farmers League manager. How can you tell us what to do? He's getting more effect from younger players based on what he's used to, grooming players from the youngsters at Ajax, bringing them through, being able to talk to them harshly, and getting them disciplined as well, and preparing them for a professional football career. Now he's having to deal with superstars like Bruno and Rashford, who think they've already made it, and they don't like change, and they don't like accountability. So that's like we saw with Ronaldo. He wasn't afraid to deal with Ronaldo the way he's been dealing with every footballer that he's dealt with. And usually, as you know, most top players in Dutch football, by the age of 23, if they're any good, they leave for another league. So he's dealing with young players the majority of the time, And I think he's adapted that to Man United, and just being consistent with it. And I think that's the best way to do it, because we have got issues. And I think that's how you filter out who the bad eggs are. And at the moment, there's someone in our fruit bowl who was infecting other players, and that's Sancho. When he got bad fruit in his fruit bowl, it does sort of affect other players. And he's removed him from that fruit bowl and done a sort of like a 3-pointer into the bin for now. And then said, "You're not coming back. Do you apologise?" That's great management. So I think we have to sort of consider all things. Everything when you're measuring up to the manager right now and measuring all things, you have to consider everything, things that we don't know about. This is what we're here for these great channels, like the philosophy and the agenda. We want to discuss things and go a bit deeper rather than say he's out, I'm this guy out, without having some sort of basis for argument. So I think you have to give the guy more time based on his actually what he achieved last year, and say that's credit in the bank, and let him continue with what he's doing, and we might see some improvement. And then people who are talking now negatively about him, in a couple of months' time, they'll be typing in, yes, Ten Hag in.
Well, I mean, UK Strains is already saying that we're boring him, and are we going to talk about the upcoming game?
He hasn't seen the agenda. Put the agenda up again. That was the first item to discuss.
Yeah. Look, we've invited Stefan on the show, UK Strains.
Calm down, UK Strains.
To sort of give us another perspective, because it can't always just be me and OMONDI talking about rombos and rest defenses and counter pressing, can it? Come on. And is there anything else here? I quite like this one, actually. Edwin van der Sar sold Anthony for 85 million. And Rashman is also saying that there's rumours of Sancho back at Carrington. And he's never left Carrington, has he, though? He's still training and things.
I think he's referring to Dynasty Carrington, the Carringtons in Dynasty. That's the only mansion he'd be returning to.
Yeah, no, I seen that, guys. It was just like a video of him signing some shirts outside the place. He just pulled the car over. It wasn't anything special. It's not like he's back in training. He's not playing Saturday. That's a spoiler, I guess.
Well, let's see what the solo 11 has later. All right. So, our next agenda, and we'll go through these quickly to sort of get on to the meat of the conversation, which is Forest away.
The meat and bones, as a Rebel would say.
Yeah, shout out to Rebel.
Yeah, big up Rebel.
Lisandro Martinez has been chatting to MUTV in extremely good English, almost making a push for the captaincy, it feels like to me. And he said, I know I will be back soon, very soon. It takes time. We need to be patient. I love this club and I love this place. I feel so grateful to be here every day, and I love to spend time with physios, the kit men, with my teammates, with everyone. And he continues to say, my mentality is to win everything.
Wow.
Look at, for sure, now we're out of the Champions League and we're disappointed for sure, but now we need to win every game. We need to fight. We need to go for the FA Cup. We need to achieve everything that we can. Is this inspiring you, Amanda?
Oh my God. That is making me beam. I'm delighted by that. Rashmano is saying here, great interview by Martin as well. Totally go along with that, man. What? It's a rousing speech, isn't it? You love to hear that. It's positive. It's exciting. And I can't wait to see him put his shirt back on.
I just love his sort of saying, I love to spend time with the physios and the kit men. But that's great because it's a community football club, isn't it? And he's sort of like, they're part of the team, the physios and the kit men. They prepare you for the matches. And he's been out for about 7 months with injuries in the last year. And it's going to be great to get him back. Stefan, what are your views on Lisandro Martinez? And are you excited by this polemic he's produced?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think everyone's kind of had that vibe that he's maybe captain material or perhaps a future captain. I think you see things like that. It's what you want to see. I mean, he's never going to say anything particularly negative or bad on MUTV anyway. But I do. I rate it and it's not just talk on the camera. We see him lead on the pitch and stuff as well. Obviously, look, he has a bit of a reputation as a very aggressive, strong defender, but he's absolute quality on the ball as well. I think he's probably the player we've missed most this season. I think in terms of playing the ball out the back, so important last year, stepping up into midfield, and his role in that team really couldn't be understated. And even when he fell well last season, after I think it was Sevilla at home, Europa League, I think even the form then stumbled again in the next couple of matches after that as well. So I think we can't get him back soon enough. I think he was rushed back too early this season, and that's why he's got re-injured again. I think that's more of a slight on the actual club itself, but when I see stuff like that, it's hard to complain. It's hard to not just get behind the guy as well. I mean, he's for me is probably the best player we've signed under Ten Hag in terms of what he's done on and off the pitch. So can't wait to have him back pretty much.
Yeah, well said. And I also think it's important to remember that like Martinez won the World Cup during the season. Like he didn't get what every other World Cup winner has had, which is 2 months of like Jack Grealish adventures in Benidorm, getting hammered and stuff. Like they had a bus trip around Buenos Aires. They got like people jumping off bridges and things. And then he comes back to United and his form did go off a cliff, to be honest, in the second half of the season. And when we got him back, I agree. I don't think he was ready to get in the team. Him, Varane and Casemiro looked like amateurs defending transitions against Forest. They weren't prepared for the start of the season. But Omondi, when you see this and you think of like the almost positive aggression that Martinez has on the football pitch, can you see him taking over from Bruno at any time in the future as a captain?
No, because it's embarrassing. It's like putting a player on in the second half and then dragging him off 5 minutes later. That's shameful. Maguire was captain all last season. He waited to the end of the season and then made that change. You know, you can't do that. You can't. It's a humiliation routine. You can't go through that. Bruno's captain right now, but you can see the characteristic that this man is showing. The butcher. With that speech, with the way he plays as well. And we did, I'm interested to know what Stefan thinks, but we did want to know what the characteristics of being a good captain are. And a lot of people sort of are stuck in the past with these Vieira's types and Roy Keane's, Brian Robson's as captains, which are showing aggression, showing that passion, which the butcher's showing as well. But I also think Bruno, I'm not going to disrespect the man because he shows quality as captain as well. He's never injured. He's probably our best player. He steps up. He can be clutch at sometimes, provide an assist like he did the other day, and his numbers are good as well. And I think he deserves respect. When any other team is doing a data on Man United, they know they have to stop him. So I think I can understand why Bruno is the captain, and it would be disrespectful and humiliation to sort of drop him now once you've gave him that armband. So I would say leave it for now and wait till the end of the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would completely agree. Maybe you could even leave it later on, like maybe Bruno's coming 30 next season, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time when he moves on. Martinez could be the next captain after that, I guess. What do you look for in a captain, I guess? Look, a lot of people want somebody who's going to scream and shout and get in other players' faces, scream at the referee. But even if we look back at Roy Keane, someone who a lot of people think doing that, and he kind of personifies that, you're still looking at a top quality player there. He had a lot of big performances on the pitch for United. And I think that's kind of what you want from your captain. It's not just shouting. It's not just being aggressive. It's dragging the team when it needs it. It's being able to step up in difficult circumstances. It's been able to direct on the pitch. And even at that, I don't think you necessarily need the armband to do that. I mean, I've seen it last year from Casemiro. We've seen it from Varane at times as well. So I'm thinking like so long as it's what the manager thinks is the right choice, I think that's probably the way to go for it. But I can't see Bruno changing right now. Maybe in 2 or 3 seasons, if he goes and leaves the club or whatever happens, then maybe that's when you could look at the butcher as captain. But not right now. I don't think. I think it's a little bit too soon.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And the comments are absolutely loving this little homily from Martinez, where UK Strange is saying the butcher is just happy to be at United. And Rushmano wants Leacher and Casemiro back as soon as possible. Martinez has been a massive loss for the team. Big T, Leacher in defence is what Bruno should be, but is not in the midfield. Bart is saying Leacher is liked by fans due to his character. I wouldn't want him to be overplayed. United should manage him and Varane better. Well, I'll let Ten Hag know, Bart. Thanks for that. And Rushmano, I agree with this. He still thinks we'll get another left-sided centre-back in the summer, or maybe sooner. And a captain should lead his team in big games. Bruno just disappears in big games. And look, it's Rebel. He's given us a score update. And Rushmano is saying that Martinez is the obvious captain in 2 years. So now we got a bit of transfer fluff to go over. First of all, a guy called Sports Pete has said that Dangor is being linked to Borussia Dortmund. But Stefan, off stage, you told me something about this.
Oh yeah. Like not to try be Fabrizio Romano or Ornstein or anything like that. It just
What do you know?
He literally signed the summer in the contract. Sorry, a contract in the summer. Like we had the photos and everything, which was pointed out to me earlier on. So we don't have to let him go. He's what, like 18, 19. Like I can't see him going pretty soon. And look, I think it's just one of those. If Dortmund come in for some of your younger players coming through, it's a good sign not to sell them. Like, so you might see him go on loan. Maybe that's what we could go for. I think there was plans at one point in the summer for them to have a look at Dangor maybe going on loan, but he's not going to Dortmund. Like, it's just not going to happen. I would be absolutely stunned if it did. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a couple of our players could do with loans, but I wouldn't want to be losing them. And one player that divides a lot of opinion is Mason Greenwood, OMONDI, who's been linked with Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and AC Milan. And rumours of a €40 million bid from Getafe today. Do you think we're going to be? Do you think we'll ever see Mason Greenwood in the red shirt again?
Look, Dean, like I said yesterday, if you're talking football, this guy is a top player. I've been watching him at Getafe playing in La Liga, and obviously Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. They had a 3-3 draw with them the other day. Getafe and AC Milan all keeping tabs on him as well, because he's a delight. I mean, he's a two-footed gem of a player. He's still quite young, and he's gone over to Spain. Less pressure on him there, and he's starting to produce the goods. And you have to keep in mind the mental health of the guy, the pressure he's been under. Granted, I mean, if he's done something wrong, he has to face up to that. But that makes you become a man. And he's in the right environment. It's a good move for him, I think, going to Getafe. Right environment. He can learn a bit of Spanish as well. And he can come away from it all, the English pressure, the media. I'm sure is Getafe a town? You know that, Bathtime. I don't know if it's a town or not, but it's in Madrid, isn't it? I think it's in Madrid, Getafe.
Yeah.
Or anywhere. Am I right?
I don't know. Like, I know the north of Spain and the south of Spain. I was only there for 3 years. Like,
well, you speak fluent Spanish. You should know these things.
Yeah.
Come prepared next time, please, Bath.
I will. I do apologise, but I do enjoy the fact that you're talking about Mason Greenwood, how we need to look after him, and all this sort of stuff. And earlier on, you were making a metaphor comparing Sancho to a piece of rotten fruit that needed to be thrown out.
Yeah.
So let's have some consistency on that.
Yeah. Fruit flies, anybody? Fruit flies.
All right. And then I think that this is quite a surprising story, this last one. This is from Fabrizio Romano. So it'll be relatively reliable, where Mabry is not going to go to AFCON because he's going to try and sort a loan move to leave Manchester United in January. Talks have started on his contract, so we're not looking to get rid of him. We're just looking to get him regular football, but he won't be going to AFCON. Stefan, is this what do you make of this story?
I think it's quite surprising. Look, obviously, you would imagine his priorities would have been to go to AFCON. It could be a really good opportunity for a young player, but I guess he's kind of looking more long term at it, because African Cup of Nations, of course, you've got January, then you've got February, but then you still have 3 more months of the season. If he can get a 5-month loan until the end of the year and play regular football, that probably does better than going to African Cup of Nations and then coming back and not getting the minutes at Old Trafford. So it might be better for him in that sense. I think it is strange. Like, we have a couple of players who tend to play for their national teams at the club, even if they're not playing regularly for United. We've got Pellistri as well. I think Pellistri was playing at the World Cup before he made an official appearance for us, which surely has to be some kind of record. But I think it's a better thing for him personally to get that 5-6 month loan and then play regular football until the end of the season, as opposed to going month and a half, 6 weeks, and then back to maybe getting 5 minutes off the bench in a match that's already won or something. So I think for him, it's probably better for his overall development. So I think that's probably a good move,
Do you see
even if it is unexpected. Do you know, I think there's a quality player in there. I think a lot of the time what he does in terms of his actual contributions to a match, it tends to get overshadowed by him picking up bookings for just two-footing and just like flying at the tackles. Like, but I do think there's a quality player there. You know, that goal against Brighton was good this year. He was fairly good when he went to Birmingham that time as well. So, you know, I think there is a player there. Like, it's just gonna be interesting to see what happens because we're pretty well stacked in midfield. You know, we've got Manu coming through. He's going to be first choice, seemingly from the younger players. You've got Bruno and Mount, Eriksen still there, Casemiro. So a lot of players in that midfield area. So it's probably a good thing for him to go get some experience and maybe put himself in the shop window if he needs to move on in a year or two time. So probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And we got some comments here where UK Strange is saying Dan Gore needs a loan move to Dortmund. That's the talk, not to sell him. And he's also saying that Mason Greenwood will be back in the summer, which is we'll deal with that when that happens. Bart is saying, what is a significant bid? I asked because Zidane Iqbal was sold for under $1 million. Cities are the masters of selling their academy lads, like Sancho. I'm not sure what a significant bid is, Bart. And Rajat, hello Rajat, hope you had a nice Christmas, is saying Hannibal will go to Dortmund. And Rashmano is saying the only real way we can actually sign top players is to sell some youth players, which helps with our FFP. And FFP is a real issue for Manchester United. So any youth player from Rashford, McTominay, Gore, any of them, it helps out tremendously if we can flog them. But I'd just like to see us get the correct money for these players. And Bart is saying that he feels that we need a central midfielder and not a central attacking midfielder. And we got a new face I haven't seen before. Hot Fuzz 44. Big up the guys and Stefan the man. Is this one of your friends, Stefan?
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is a good guy. He's a member of my channel. He's got his own channel as well. And yeah, like he's usually on there for some therapy after the matches, complaining and going on for maybe an hour and a half or so. But yeah, he's a good guy, really good guy.
United fan.
Yeah. Big United fan.
Right. Give him a like and subscribe. Hot Fuzz 44 Amondo.
Oh, that's the name of the channel, yeah?
Yes.
I will be adding that. Just to add, I want to make a point about Hannibal. You know, I watch a lot of academy football for years now, and I saw a quote from Johan Cruyff, rest in peace, one of the best footballers out there, and obviously he's had so much influence on the game, as we see with Pep right now. But he said, these technical players, the way you send them on loan, you send them to a side that's not very technical, a roughhouse side, to get the best out of them. Because no point sending them to a team that hasn't got a good system of play, that play physical kind of football. Beckham was sent to Preston. Last year, Hannibal, who was a very technical player, people don't realise this. Everyone's always talking about him, two-footing guys. Sorry, Steph. Yeah. And everyone remembers him coming on against Liverpool and getting him, putting his weight about. But that was a perfect move going to Birmingham because the ball was bypassing him. It was like bypassing the midfield. They play a different brand of football. But you have to remember, this guy's a technical genius when he was playing in the academy level, and now he's gone to Birmingham and learnt the rough side of the game, and now it's all about, you know, like diamond in the rough kind of thing. You have to sort of shine, get him to shine. He's got a bit of physical now. He's known for that, and people have forgotten about his actual talent. So I think he's a great player who can actually show his talents now that he's got that different side to his game. Where he's being aggressive and he knows he can get up and down. He understands the importance of work rate at the senior level rather than being at the boys level. So that move was a top move, I think, and we don't really see the effects of that yet. What a great goal, by the way, he scored, and that's the talent he's got when he scored earlier this season.
Yeah, I mean, like my thoughts on Hannibal is, you know, that I have very strong views on how a right-sided central midfielder should play. You know, not being on the ball, lots of running, penetrating the channels, getting access to that half space, and winning headers and defending our channel. Hannibal is really good at all of those things. I don't see the technical stuff as much as you do. Like, I haven't seen him involved in rondos, or when I see him play as a central midfielder, I'm really not convinced about the angle that he addresses and receives the ball at. And these things that you obviously pick up over the years. I do not know how players like Mainu and Rico Lewis have got it at the age of 18 or 19. They're like genius toddlers. It's disgusting how good they are. But with Hannibal, there are some serious deficiencies in his game at creating the correct angles to pass and receive. I don't know if he had a huge growth spurt or something, which can limit a lot of players of that build around that time. But if he is sent out on loan, I'm less worried about like what league he goes to or what club he goes to. I'm more concerned that our head of youth development talks to that team and says like these are the areas that we want him to improve on, and it's basically playing diagonal passes to a straight run and making diagonal runs for straight balls and things like that, like the sort of minutiae of playing like the midfield. Oh, thank you, Rushmano. It's very rare anyone agrees with what I say, to be honest. But let's get to back to the comments.
Wait. Big up to I just want to say big up to Michael Zachariah. My name is Zacchaeus, so there's two Zachs in the house. Actually, this channel is not big enough for two Zachs at the moment, so one of us can have to leave Zacchaeus. Zachariah.
Stop threatening people, Amondi.
I'll take that back. Welcome to the channel. He's saying sell Anthony, Maguire, and Sancho. So get those guys out as well.
Yeah. Okay. And we've got JR saying Hannibal needs regular football. Not everyone can be Mainu. Personally, I think I would love us to be in a position where we could have loaned Mainu for a year just to get a couple of things, like get him used to stuff like going to away matches, like, knowing that he's going to be playing every game and stuff. And getting those rickets out where he's let the ball run under his foot quite a few times in games. And also I don't like a 19-year-old being the hopes and dreams of Manchester United. I think that's too much on young shoulders, but I hope it does well. And Big T is saying that Hot Fuzz has a United channel. Give him the link and let him on. I vouch for him. Yeah. Wicked. So we'll get Hot Fuzz on at some point. And look at this. Bar, do you want an annoying troll to maraud your streams? I can volunteer. Nice one, Bart. And DK Wilson is saying he's watched Hannibal closely over 3 years. The more responsibility he has on the field, the better he plays. Now, this is Ten Hag's fault for not using correctly. I'd quite like you to expand on what you mean there, DK Wilson, because
you've seen him in the academy like myself. We know there's a great little technical player in there, and he was the main
responsibility.
Man. He was the main man in the academy. That's why he had all the responsibility on his head.
It's like if you guys go back and watch some of the Birmingham highlights as well, quite often he would be receiving the ball really deep, a lot deeper than what he's getting the ball at the minute. So he was kind of like dropping into like a number 8 position. And he was kind of receiving from Birmingham centre backs, and he was turning on it and getting them moving as well. So I think that's what we kind of mean when talking responsibility on the ball. Just because he's more, if he loses the ball there, it's higher risk areas to be losing it. So I think, drop him a little bit deeper and see what happens. Maybe try him where we've been putting Ericsson in there, or where we've been putting Bruno at times as well. Maybe that could be something interesting. So
I'm not sure about Hannibal's legs for playing in central areas. They're very long and gangly, and it's like you look at someone like Declan Rice, who has what I call piano legs, like short little stubby things. That means that he can turn very easily. And also I disparage this view of that you can only take responsibility with the ball. Hannibal, he does his running, and that's so important because he might not be starting from deep, but in the right-sided central midfield position, his job is to make the first rotation. He does that well. His job is to run the channels. He does that well. Every player on the pitch has responsibility, and that's what I mean when I wanted DK Wilson to sort of expand what he means by responsibility, because I think he does take responsibility. I just think he's a bit too febrile and excitable, and he's like players players are looking to get him booked all the time. He needs to calm down a little bit. But anyway, it's 50
Sorry, can I
minutes
just
into...
say, that's a great discussion we're having there with Hannibal. Everyone's chipping in, and I think it's worthy of discussion because he is a talent. And rather than sort of dashing him out and dismissing him, he does need game time for one. And we haven't I don't think the fan base has truly seen his potential as yet.
No, but I do like this comment from Emma Kay saying that Hannibal averaged a yellow card per game at Birmingham. Premier League refs are going to give him a red card every other game.
Great low move, like Johan Cruyff was saying. Talented players need to go to somewhere like that to learn the physical side of the game. And maybe he's gone OTT with it a little with his comeback, but he's a better player for it.
Oh, all right. Okay, I'll move on to our next story and then just leave it, which is that AFCON is coming. And our favourite, Sofan the Pony Amrabat, will be going, and so will Andre Onana. And they could miss up to 4 games, like if they get to the final, which is on the 11th of February. But Fabrizio Romano has said that that there is total trust in Bayindir as the backup goalkeeper. Stefan, are you looking forward to seeing Andre Onana not in goal, or like what are your feelings on this?
Do you know, man? Like I've kind of felt like for a lot of the season, he seems to be really fairly solid in the Premier League, and then when it comes to Champions League, it's like his twin brother goes out and plays instead. But it is a frustration. I do like the guy. I think there's a good shot stopper in there. I think he's more of a confidence player. I think when he saved the penalty against Copenhagen, he went on a bit of a run of good matches until really we got to the next Champions League match, and that kind of threw things off again. But I'm fairly confident in Bayindir. I think I would like to have seen him play before now for us. I think that would be pretty useful because I'm pretty sure we play at Tottenham on the 14th of January. So unless he plays against Wigan, he's just going to be thrown right in against Tottenham. We were making a lot of chances and scoring a lot of goals this season. So it mightn't be too fair on him, but I'm hoping Bayindir can cope. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that in the Crystal Palace game where we played well in the League Cup on a Wednesday night, I think Bayindir should have probably started that game on Monday. But the worst thing that happened to Onana, I think, was in pre-season where he got chipped. Do you remember that? Was it Leon that chipped him from the halfway line or near enough? And I really wish that we could sort of go back in time and that didn't happen and we see how he gets on, because I feel that that's affected him. But anything else to say, Mr. Forbes?
I don't think it's affected him. I've seen his confidence in interviews, the way he sort of bigs up his chest. His chest is so big when he walks around like that, he's really proud. And
it's not big enough when he needs to save.
Yeah, maybe, but he's made so many errors. He's conceded 40-odd goals this season, and he's still going around skinning teeth like he's happy. And that's the air of confidence that you like to see. And that air of confidence as well, when you're trying to close him down, thinking, right, I got him, and he just cuts you in half with a little Cruyff turn. Mentioned Cruyff again, but a little Cruyff turn or something, and plays the ball out. It's so good to see. And I like that. And I think goalkeepers, like you say, we're a bit wacky sometimes. He's definitely a bit wacky, and he's definitely a good watch.
Well, look, Big T with his positivity is saying with Onana gone, it should be 4 wins. Rashmanu is saying that Bayindir looks solid. Michael is saying that he hopes that Bayindir just does the basics as a goalkeeper. He's not with you on this, Monday. You're excited by Cruyff turns, and he just wants someone who catches the ball and
this
stops
podcast ain't big enough to do Zacks.
Yeah, and UK Streams was at that. He was at the Lens game. It's always a bit of a downer, but it's Solo saying good evening to everyone.
Again, I've seen Solo twice today.
Yeah. Okay, so the game, Forest away, 5:30 kickoff this Saturday on Sky Sports, not on Amazon Prime. And look, I've even done the times for everyone. Where in New York it's 12:30 in the afternoon.
New Delhi.
Yeah, but look at this. I didn't know this, but India is 5.5 hours ahead of us. I didn't know you could do half an hour ahead. But yeah, so those are all the times for you. And Alangi the danger man. Now, Stefan, Alangi has been, we call him Alangi. Alangi has been in good form this season, where like he's got like 4 goals, 5 assists, and has looked really good on the highlights whenever I've seen him. Should we be concerned about Alanga and Chris Wood?
I mean, yeah, I think maybe you could argue we sold the wrong Anthony in summer, but no, he's been impressive. He's been impressive. Like, I will say that he's been impressive. I think Forrest maybe suits him better because he's attacking into more space. It's not like at United where typically we're coming up against low blocks. They are the low block, Nottingham Forest. So he's kind of springing on the counter a fair bit. I think, look, watching back against Newcastle, I think he had a really good match. Obviously up against Dan Burden, there was a lot of space in behind. He got in behind a good few times in that match. But I always thought there was a better player in Alanga than what we've seen. At United, I think he was used kind of for his speed, his strength, his work rate. Maybe when there actually was a higher quality player in there that we could have got more out of. But I would be a little bit concerned about him. I think Luke Shaw should be back for this one. So if he's starting on the right, we should deal with him. If he's starting on the left, I would like to see Wan-Bissaka in there maybe to help deal with that there, because he is the danger man for Forest. He links up well with Gibbs White, and obviously Chris Wood hat-trick at the weekend. Like, so Forest in good form. It'll be an interesting match. It will be. Even going away last season was an interesting one. I actually think that was probably Anthony's best performance for us away to Forest. So we'll see how it goes on Saturday. Yeah. No. I think maybe it was 2-0 last season. I think Anthony scored, and I think he got an assist to Dallo, who was left back that day. I think we're playing in the white kit. That's as good as I can remember.
I can't even remember what day it is. A Monday. I can't remember if you liked Alanga or not. I think it might have just been me and Solo that loved him.
No, I like the song. There was a good song they made up. Fans are so inventive with songs, aren't they?
Rhythm is a dancer.
Yeah.
Anthony Alanga. Yeah.
And obviously, the away day at Atletico Madrid when he scored that great goal, I've watched that like loads of times. And he's got the physicality. He's quick. I saw him against Newcastle the other day. Rapid. I think where you get that speed from, man? He's been training hard, and it's great to see him doing well. That's what you want to see. I know we're going to get comments. He should still be at the club. Why do we sell him now? But people weren't saying that when we sold him. People were quite happy. I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't see a show put up. Why are we selling Alanga or anything like that? I think we had time to judge him. It's not a case that we didn't see enough from him. We saw enough from him, and we all felt that he wasn't probably up to standard. But he is at the standard of the Premier League, as he's proven now. So fair play to him. I'd love to see the guy doing well. I just don't think he's got too much sugar. He's got the physical side of things. I don't think he's got too much sugar. When we played for us, there were times it's like, come on, Alanga, do some more, because all he can do is drive. All he can do is drive. And at the top level, you need to have more than that, because as you saw against Bayern Munich, these centre backs will eat you up. Even if you've got that, you need a little something extra. And I think he didn't develop that in time. And at the age he's at, I think they ran out of patience with him. So good luck to him in the future. I just want to read out a comment, though, regarding our guy, Alanga. I did try to... this one made me laugh. United selling the wrong Anthony's like Vince McMahon hiring the wrong one-legged wrestler. And that'd be Kerry Von Erich. If you didn't know, anyone didn't know, Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado, he actually had one leg. He had a peg leg or wooden leg.
Okay, yeah. I don't know anything about wrestling.
Data, facts, it's all there.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Alanga is that I actually was a massive proponent of Alanga. I thought that he linked incredibly well against some supermarket team we played, like Tesco Moldova or something. I really, really liked Alanga as a player. And when I look at his stats that I've got up there from FB Ref, he's going to be their outlet, both with carrying the ball and with his physicality. But I suppose the argument you can make for getting rid of Alanga is, along as Rushmano brought up earlier, FFP. It's pure profit with Alanga, but also Garnacho coming in. I think that Garnacho will, the two careers they're going to have you've got to assume that Garnacho's going to have a far better career than Elanga. But I think that of all the Antonys, including Martial, Elanga is the one that I would have kept. Like, I was a big fan of him. But anyway, it's the moment everyone's been waited for. It's taken us an hour to get here. It's the solo 11, and as always, it's just nonsense. But let's start off. So this is what Solo's gone with. He's got Lindelof at left back. He's got Johnny Evans. He's got Varane. He's got Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he's got Onana in goal. Stefan, what is this? Should he be sectioned for that back five?
Oh, I mean, and anyone wanting to see Lindelof at left back again, probably, yeah. I mean, it's an Amrabat in there as well. Oh no, I can't say I'm for it. Like, I would keep most of those players in there based on what we have, but I think Lindelof and Amrabat's a big ones. Just gotta come out of that team.
Omondi is our defensive mastermind. Are you happy with Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back?
Yeah. I think Dalot, did we establish that it was a 1-game ban? Do you know, Stefan?
For Diogo Dalot,
a red card, didn't he? For 2 yellows.
Yeah.
Previous game. So is that a 1-game ban? Will he be available?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly confident he played. Yeah, he played the last match.
No, Dalot. I'm talking about Dalot.
Yeah, Dalot played the last match.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. I thought he wasn't at right back. That's why I got confused. So I played Dalot at left back again. He seemed to do really well there. And there's something key that we talk about tweaking the side. Dalot going into midfield when we were building up play. I thought that was magnificent. He's got the ability to do that. I'm watching Arsenal earlier on with Shevchenko or whatever his name is playing in there. So comfortable on the ball. I want to see that from... Oh God. Don't get me, man. I can't pronounce him. But I want to see our players comfortable doing that. And as we said yesterday, he's the only one who seems to be able to do that. Johnny Evans, put some respect on his name. And Varane, the way they're defending right now, which is good. This is why defenders don't really get injured. They're strolling and reading the game. To experienced pros, not having to go to ground, not having to sort of chase things because they're reading the game really well and controlling the game. And I think that's why they can, at 35 years old, West Ham got... Barno or whatever his name is at 35 playing today. Thiago Silva's playing at centre back. When you're very good and wise as a centre back, you don't have to do all the running. You've got to dictate and be in good positions. I think Evans and Varane, no matter who they're playing against, we played Liverpool the other day and all these top sides. We can, if you marshal it well, control it well, communicate well, you don't have to do all that donkey work. You know, and then obviously hope that the boys ahead of you don't give the ball away and kick transitions on you. So I'm all right with that defense once you take out Lindelof.
Even with corners?
Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm really impressed. I don't think Johnny Evans is the tallest, but he's like, since Maguire's gone out the side, I trust on him for attacking corners and defending corners and set pieces. He seems to know how to deal with Premiership style physicality. And he wins his headers, so respect to him. And then people forget that is like tackling and winning headers. This is an art. They're trying to take out the game, and I think it's as a centre back when you see this happening, people just take it for granted. But when all these centre backs coming in now with ball playing centre backs, all this kind of thing, who can't really defend the basics, tackling and heading. Obviously, with the issue with heading, with dementia and all that kind of thing, they're trying to take that out of the game. I do think Johnny Evans is an excellent exponent of heading from what I've seen, and we need him right now. Now Harry Maguire's out the side, these things are so important.
Yeah, I think Varane's actually a little bit underrated in the air. I think he's good at getting up early. So even if he loses the header, he's got his shoulder across the man. He's being annoying. I noticed it against Bayern Munich. He impressed me in that. But we've got to do some comments because I forgot. So first up, we've got a blast from the past, which is Pat Lawless.
Yes,
hello, Pat.
Saw Pat today as well.
Yeah, love to see you come back on the channel soon. Andrew is asking where the game is being played. He obviously missed my slide with all the time zones. And UK Strange is saying Elanga wasn't good at United. Forest is a good club for him. And Rushmano is saying that our lads know everything about Elanga. Doesn't see him as a threat. please don't tempt the footballing gods, Rashmano.
Mhm.
They're after us this year. And Bart is saying, Alanga, Premier League quality, but not United quality. Same goes for Hannibal. 8 GA is good. I think it's got 9 GA now. Andrew's saying he's done excellent at Forest, but yes, not sure he's top class. Who knows, though? He's still young. And this, Omondi, I think, is a wrestler, Zach Gowan.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Okay.
But Kerry Von Erich did have one leg as well.
All right. Well, I'm glad we cleaned that up. And but
It's
rather
important.
like, I've forgotten how the joke goes. Oh, so Peter Sellers' joke about he's got no leg, but I haven't got anything against it, and neither does he. Right. Alanga was a great over-the-top player, but Garnacho is way better. Rushmano is saying Lindelof is injured. Yeah, this is the solo 11, Rushmano. Never makes sense. And then we've got Rushmano again saying, I'd like to see Anthony play on the left side, using his best foot to actually cross for once. I think next week we'll do an eye test on why it's better to have a left footer on the right and a right footer on the left, because this is something that I'm seeing coming up quite a lot. But let's get back to the solo 11. We've got Mainu, Eriksen, and Bruno as the midfield. Stefan, does that excite you? Does that worry you?
It excites and worries at the same time. I think we can give that as an answer. Look, I don't really make much of a secret of it that I think we're a better team without McTominay in it, and it's not a slight on him as a player, and it's not a slight on him obviously as a character. It's just the way he's being used, and when he's not in the team, we seem to play a better style of football. Look, I think Manu's got to play. I think he's probably him. Bruno maybe first choice in midfield, then Manu at the minute. I think it just comes down to what we want beside him. Ideally, you would have somebody else alongside him, maybe more defensively solid in this type of match as well. I would worry for Eriksen on the transition, and that's going to be something that Forrest will be looking for. Gibbs White will be floating in around that midfield, so that's going to put him under some pressure as well. Look, he's very good in the ball, as we know, but I do worry about it a little bit. It might be a match to put Amrabat in there, but then again, you're losing all your forward passing. You're looking at maybe Manu playing further forward in that case, so you're kind of jiggling a lot about to try put one player in there. So I think Ten Hag will probably stick with that midfield. That's what I think he'll probably do in this one.
Yeah, Omondi, like, are you happy with this midfield? Do you think that we need McTominay in there?
Look, it's a tough one, isn't it? You go with Eriksen, you know what he gives you. You can dictate the play, give us more possession. We're not at home. We might be under it. Forest are a physical team for sure. And like you said, with Morgan Gibbs, he's a strong runner. So you need someone to go with him if we lose control. I would go with Eriksen. I prefer Eriksen. I want to dictate the play. I think the quality is there when we sort of doing third man runs, little tight into play, and the way we were playing the other day. I like Eriksen, and with Mainu there, these are two guys. When you look up, you're happy to pass into midfield, into tight areas when they're there because they've got the quality, and you're so used to it. You know, into feet, that sort of thing. With McTominay, you look up, you see him there demanding the ball in a tight area, and you're like, let's start again. That's the big difference for me.
I mean, for me, I look at this midfield, and what worries me is how that midfield's not going to be compact. Bruno's going to get far too forward. He's going to get. He treats everyone behind him as if it's a double pivot, as if he's back with McFred, and he goes off just exploring, having a lovely time. Christopher Columbus out there discovering new places to go and complain in. But Eriksen is a diligent player, and he's got a good engine on him, but he's not explosive. And it's actually Mainu's actually quite similar. We've seen Mainu get empowered past by a player in every match he's played.
I don't believe that.
All right, I'll point it out to you. Next get up match reaction on Saturday or Monday. I will note when Mainu gets run past, and I'll give you the time reference. But I worry that Mainu and Eriksen, the distance between them and Bruno is going to get larger and larger as the game goes on. You'll see Bruno attempting standard midfield pressing triggers that end up with him just running like that crazy Native American in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he just jumps out the window. Like he'll be doing that, just charging at the goalkeeper, and that space there will be what kills us, because Mino and Eriksson, I don't believe, are physical enough to deal with players like Gibbs White and Alanga and the rest of them. Like I think Hot Fuzz has said that Sangari could ball out for them on Saturday. He's actually suspended. But what we do know about Forest is that they're extremely physical. And against Newcastle United, they were able to deal with the physicality of Joel Linton and Bruno Guimaraes and things. So I'm a little bit worried about having Casemiro, Eriksson, and Bruno. I wouldn't mind to see someone else there, whether that's Amrabat or McTominay, but someone with a better engine. Like I think I'd put McTominay in for this one, and have him sitting alongside. And then we've got some comments here. Bruno's like Dick Dastardly trying to catch the pigeons. Not sure about that one, but Rushmano is saying Shaw must play left back, surely. Which leads us onto a theory that I've developed. I'm not sure we can have Shaw and Delo in the same team. I think it interferes too much with the defensive structure of the rest defence. And Michael is saying we need fullbacks that can control the ball under pressure and build up play. We have none except Alvaro Fernandez. Shaw's perfectly fine at that, isn't he? And then Andy is going for Anano, Wan-Bissaka, Delo, Varane, Johnny Evans, Amrabat, Mainu, Bruno, Rashford, Garnacho, Højlund. So he's just taken Eriksson out. And have we got anything else here? God, there's loads of comments. So I got distracted talking about rest defences. Shaw is past his best. Time to move on. And it's probably time, gentlemen, for us to move on, but not before you get your score predictions in chat. And Stefan, we'll start with you. 5-0, 6-0. What's the score going to be?
Okay, we're not. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I think Forest will score. And I always go kind of optimistic for it before the match. And normally after about 10 minutes, I'm like, I really regret that choice. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go for 2-1. I'll go for 2-1 win.
Who's scoring?
Who's scoring? Do I think Rashford? I'm not sure why, but something just tell me Rashford. I think he tends to like playing against Forest. Scored against him earlier in the season, of course. Thought he was probably his best match of the season against Aston Villa as well. In terms of his overall involvement and actually getting it on the ball and finding the runners ahead of him. So I think Rashford for 1, and let's go with Højlund. Maybe the floodgates have opened now, and he's actually going to get the service and get the goals that we know he can get. He just needs that service. He just needs some chances, and he probably is going to score if he gets it.
I hope so. OMONDI, what are we thinking?
Look, they got a new manager, and they had a great result. And now they're taking it. That was away, wasn't it? And now they're coming back home with a new manager. The fans are going to be up for it and everything. But I remember the game. They went 2-0 up at Old Trafford. We came back against them. And I remember thinking to myself, there's certain teams we're clearly better than. And I think they don't have the quality. Last season as well, when we played them, I didn't think they had the quality. Obviously, they've got a good few players. They seem to play better against other teams when they're really up for it. I just felt like when we're on it, with the positives that we have right now from the game the other day, Garnacho seems to be on fire right now. I think they're going to try and bring it with that confidence they've got from their previous win. The crowd will be up them, and they're going to make mistakes. And I don't see us, but if Aston Villa can only score from set pieces against us, I don't see them scoring an open play against us. I really don't. I think it'll be 1-0. We don't score a lot of goals, but I think we'll sneak a goal. And I'm going to that sort of blonde dude up front again, because I just think with strikers, once you get that first goal, that confidence is there, everything just clicks and you just go on a run where you can't be stopped. And I think that's about to happen. So I would bet on Rasmus scoring a goal. I'd also bet on us winning the game. We've got more confidence today. Look, Arsenal have lost, Tottenham have lost, all these teams around us. When people are saying, we're out of the top 4, there's no way. The Premier League is such a tough league. Fulham were the form team the other day. Bournemouth were the form team the other day. West Ham are currently the form team. Do you know what I'm saying? Things are going in roundabouts out here. But we got to be consistent. And that's what we need to do. If we have a bit of consistency, we can continue to move on. We need to win this game. We have to win this game if we want for our expectations to get top 4. And I think we're going to do it 1-0.
Like consistency is that consistency with team selection or
no
tactics?
Consistency?
Or
well, forget that. We're just with results. We need consistency. Our results have been all over.
Performances.
Yeah, performances. Like we said the other day, the performance was good as a team. We were on it, you know. And I think once we start getting those performances again, coming out there every week and saying, right, let's get out there and win this game, and get a team talk from Martinez, maybe, you know, in English.
Yeah.
For the game. That might work to stir the boys up. But yeah, what do you reckon, Bath Time? I mean, think we've covered everything today about Forest, about our team, and what's going on at the club. But with everything, all those factors, what do you reckon the score's going to be?
I think that this is going to be a good performance from United with a tight scoreline against Liverpool and West Ham. Our last 2 away games, we absolutely shut that crowd down. Like, I mean, all right, with Liverpool, they were up for 10 minutes. But when we got on the ball and we just took the sting out of the game, and we did that at West Ham as well. And then eventually we hoped a bit of quality would come in, but it didn't. But against a team that I don't think has a huge amount of quality and will be like learning sort of new principles and new ideas, the way that Nuno wants to play, I think that we're going to get a 2-1, maybe 3-1, because I think that Ten Hag's principles are finally beginning to come into the team. And I'm really excited about seeing us playing compact in possession and doing that rondo structure that we've seen in the last couple of games for Garnacho's disallowed goal and things. But our comments are saying that Andrew Williams, wow, 2-1 United. Rashmano, 2-1 United. UK Strains, 1-0. Oh, Bart. Everyone boo Bart. 1-1 or 2-2. DK Wilson, you can get booed as well.
Oh, boo, DK Wilson.
And look, Hot Fuzz, look, you've wrecked it. Boo. He thinks it's 2-2 as well. Boo.
Unsubscribe.
Oh, Big T, get out of here. 3-1 Forest.
Oh.
Matthew Bassett, Forest 2.
No, man. Come on,
look,
guys.
I know that like Forest did really well against Newcastle and they battered us at St James's. But Newcastle have been rubbish for bloody ages. Like, there's hope for this game. We've done, since the Bayern Munich game, take Bournemouth out, we're showing better footballing principles. And Rasmus has finally scored a goal. We've got a good chance in this. Pat, thank you. 2-1. Bruno and Højlund. And Rashmano. Højlund brace, imagine. And then, Bart, I don't know why. Do you see United finishing the game with 11 men? I see us finishing with 13 men, Bart. We'll just get more and more players on the pitch. DK Wilson, my man. 4-1 United. That's better. All right. I think that is probably... Oh, OMONDI, you want me to do this? I'll try. Take over for me for a second.
Yeah. Listen, guys. It's been a great show. I think this is probably the most detailed preview we've done in a long time. Bro, I mean, I'm going to unsubscribe to your friend, Hot Fuzz. How dare he come on here after everything and predict the loss? I mean, do you believe in that? There's no way we're going to lose this game. Surely not, Stefan.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we'll win. That's what I'm going for. Like.
So Rebel saying here 2-1 to Forest as well. Rebel, man, please, you need to stop this. And Mikel saying here, why is the fan base so deluded? These players aren't good enough, you know. And he's going for 1-1, so he doesn't think we've got enough to beat Forest at the moment. How good's the Prem now, Stefan? Do you think, like as I was saying there, teams are going on runs? Fulham are going on a good run. Bournemouth are going on a good run. Apart from even Luton playing pretty well, but Burnley won the other day. I mean, I think the league's tough. There's no sort of given games anymore, apart from Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to be more negative again, when we struggle to beat Sheffield United, but look, what I would say is it's hard to tell really if it's super competitive or if there's just a lot of teams out there struggling at different times. Because, like you said, with certain teams being the form team in the division, I mean, there was a period of time when we were the form team somehow.
Yeah, of course.
As well.
That's true.
So that happened, but I don't know. I think the teams at the top are dropping a lot of points. I don't think it's a particularly good Liverpool team at the top of the league at the minute. You know, they're still in a rebuild as well. Obviously, look, they're still picking up the points, but even at this point, I think if we look back over the last couple of seasons, we'll probably see City would have had a lot more points by this time. Maybe Arsenal as well. You know, so it's kind of difficult to say where the league's at the minute. It's entertaining. I think it's more unpredictable. Um, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, like West Ham beating United and Arsenal within a week, pretty much, and then they might go out and lose the next 4 matches in a row as well. So, like, it's hard to tell what way it's going to go as well. Sometimes, very, very unpredictable. I think that's what I'll go for.
All right, Monday. I've got what you wanted.
All right, let me build this up, guys. As you know, it's a Man United agenda. We had Stefan on today. Small community, but we want to get people together. Now, Pat, he got on a ferry last night and went all the way to Wales. What's the port in Wales? I forget now. And drove 4.5 hours into London today. And guess what? He met up. It's like the three amigos. It was OMONDI, Yaba, Solo, the owner, the foundation of this channel, and Irishman Pat, all together. They came to my house. We went for a drink. There you are at the pub at the end of my road. There we got little fists in Pat's face saying, "You better come back to the show really soon." Look at that. Look at that. Look at the smiles on us, you know. We had a nice roast dinner and a couple of lemonades, a couple of Cokes as well. And as you can see there, the boys are back in town. So there we are. Pat's back. He'll be back on the show soon. There's our Solo, making a little appearance, a solo appearance. We haven't seen him for a long time. And there's me in the middle, smiling, happy to be around the boys. So big up to the guys. Everyone who knows Pat, everyone who knows Solo, we love you.
I'd just also like to say that, Monday, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'5".
Yeah, they're all normal height. And Monday is just too big. Look at it. Looks like Godzilla, like as a farmer or something there. But yeah, absolutely brilliant to see the lads all back together, and delighted that Pat will be coming back on the channel. I think that this weekend we might have a watch along for the Forest game, but if we don't have one, Stefan, you do watch alongs and things, so let's plug that channel.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I'll be on 5:30 for the watch along, win, loss, draw. I've seen some horrific matches this season doing them, and we always manage to finish. We always sit to the end, no matter how bad it's got. So I will be there. I will be there. Don't worry.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank all of you for spending a ridiculous amount of time with us tonight, an hour and 20 minutes. And we'll be back tomorrow. I believe Dora will be back on tomorrow with me and OMONDI. Stefan, what a debut. The best one since Makeda, to be honest. And unlike Makeda, we'd love to see more of you. So thank you very much to everyone who has spent their evening with us, and we really appreciate it. And have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So it's good night from all of us.
Good night.